a German short-haired pointer.
Oh my gosh.
So I believe he's a bird. He was bred as a bird dog. He is meant to go retrieve ducks. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. And how long
But
do you
he
have this
acts like,
dog?
oh, he's not mine. He's my sister's.
Okay.
She's had him. Yeah, he would just turn a year old because he just got fixed 2 weeks ago.
Mm. Hopefully that tones down some of the aggression.
In some ways, oh, absolutely. In other ways, absolutely not.
Mm.
It's like he's already peed on the floor twice. He's completely housebroken. He does it on purpose.
Right. Yeah. My dad's dog does too sometimes. So yeah, get that.
And he's only bitten somebody once,
I thought you
and
said
he
he
got.
threw blood on one.
I said in some ways yes, in other ways no,
Oh, got it.
and he got a prompt smack in the face for that. So that taught him not to do that again. But he's never. Well, he's only ever done it once deliberately, and he got again a smack to the face for doing that. All other times have been accidental.
Mm. Just like a reaction.
He has a very strong food response. Basically, if he has something in his mouth, you don't try to take it out of his mouth.
Yeah. Well, that's in any dog though, I would think that. Okay.
Yeah, it's just he hasn't learned the you don't bite people as a response to that yet.
Right. I couldn't do it. I gotta tell you. My dad has a like little schnauzer, so he can't hurt someone if he tried. Maybe if he were like an infant. Okay, so everyone is here, and so let's get started. Now, I wanted something kind of interesting that I mean, you guys may want to use or not. I mean, it's up to you. But I figured so there is a plugin or a mod, I should say, that integrates World Anvil with Foundry. So I'm thinking, so basically, I'm thinking what I'm going to do, and I can put the latest entry in there. So if you're ever wondering, oh, by the way, someone may want to turn themselves on mute. I'm echoing through somebody's speaker. I'm not sure who it is. Okay, so what'll happen is that when I reveal it all to you, I just have to hit show. It'll appear in the journal section. So if you're ever like, what is that? You don't have to open up like a new window. So I'm gonna latest entry. This mod is a little bit flawed, so I'm not super keen on it, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna show the set. So we have 1, 2, 3. One of the flaws that it has is that I can only show it to people currently in game, which is kind of weird, but okay. All right, so we are going to do a quick recap of last week. So last week, you all had just knocked out a person inside of Saito and Son. And that's, by the way, Saito and Son, singular, not sons, even though that would be the first place your brain would go. Saito has one child, and it is a son, shockingly. So upon entering the store, Andil recognized the person as indeed Saito, and you all started to search the office, specifically Toren and Ramune, for any type of clues or any type of information that was connected to your goal, which was to find out about some shady buyers that were coming to the shop to buy some illegal ingredients. So no magic or disease and poison were detected, but Toren did find a ledger that was written in some type of code. He noticed that whoever wrote this in this ledger took meticulous notes, but then as it got further into the ledger, the notes got more and more vague. And so that was a little bit interesting, but you did notice that Ramune looked at the ledger as well, and Ramune noticed that was able to kind of crack a little bit of the code, and he didn't quite get what the wording was, but it was a word that started with a W and a word that started with a T that seemed to be the actual item that was being ordered. Now, after finding the information, the party decides to wake up Saito, and so Cypress is going to interrogate, and after asking some questions, it's clear that Saito is not going to talk, and so Cypress goes into Saito's mind and sees several scenes of people coming in and basically threatening and bullying him into filling these orders. Unfortunately, during this vision that Cypress has reading into his mind, he doesn't hear what the order is. He just sees that it's a plant with an unusual pink flower, and he doesn't hear any names. No names are said. It later is revealed that the plant is worm tongue. Sato does admit that. It's called worm tongue. And it used to be harvested in mass, but it's now endangered, so it's no longer supposed to be harvested. It's illegal to harvest it, actually. It was used for garnishes on fine dishes. And also the leaves, since the changes in the world, have become very potent. They were used to create poisons for hunting, but since the event, the poison had become a lot more potent. It was very dangerous. So this is illegal all around for anybody to harvest this plant. So after all of this, you all decide to hide and to wait for the buyer to come in and to attempt to purchase this worm tongue. And when the buyer comes in, you all kind of storm him and you take him down rather quickly, as well as two goons that he has. They don't take long to take down. They're a little bit more confident than they should have been. And you get them to admit some things. We'll get the leader to admit some things at least. The leader's name is Stefan. He has a note in his pocket that says, "Meet Toren in Salescrest, East Docks Warehouse, Floor 2, East Room, come at 21 hours. A copy of the note is in the wiki if you need it, if you need to see it. And it's also actually in, I believe I put it in the journal section. And so lastly, you end on deciding to go back to Esta and to talk to her about it. And you kind of talk to her to, fill her in on the details. She mentions that through more interactions with the resistance group, that they may be able to look more into this. Well, I should say she mentioned that she's had more interactions with the resistance group and that they're going to look more into this. And Ramune suggests that you may be able to reach out to Jared, the thief that you met at the casino. Let me go back for a second and mention something real quick. This is important. When you tried to push Stefan too far, he had that same effect of having horrible pain and screaming in his head when you tried to ask him certain questions. So this is the third time we've seen this happen. The first time was with the burglar outside of Dr. Way's office, who was trying to break in and steal his research. The second time was with Tool from the Vendok barbarian tribe, specifically when she was talking about the person coming in and out of her hut at night. And the third was this time. Okay, so that's everything. I think I remembered everything. So so you all should be able to see now. Let's save it. This entry. Okay, I guess it's saved. Yep. Okay. So you all should be able to see in a folder called Latest Entry Session 19, Shenanigans at Saito and Son in Foundry. All right, we are going to head to Esta's room. there's quite a few things on our plate that we can do, most of which are not time sensitive that I'll remind you of in a second. Okay, so all right, 1 second, let me get my water. Should have had it in the first place. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. So it's morning, and you all have just had a conversation with Esta, who is very worried about what she has heard. There are many things that you can do, and let me know if I forget any of them. But first, the only time sensitive one is going to Saul's Crest to look into this delivery. And so that's 8 o'clock that night. You can speak to Julius Westgard, who is the creative director for the Harlequins, to find out more about what's happening with that and the theater being suppressed. You can go to the Allorian Conservation Alliance to accept the contract that you have been presented. And I don't know if you all remember a detail about that, but the contract was created because the places that are mentioned on the contract are places that Mother was involved with. And you heard that information from Dr. Wang. You don't know exactly how, but places that she's mentioned that are now having problems, quote unquote. Okay. Second one. So speak to Julius. You can also check the message board to see if there's anything else for you to do. So we will start here. What would you all like to do? You can further talk to Esta. Oh, also, I want to add this as a thing. You can go seek out Jared if you want to see if he has the information or if he can help you at all. Hmm. Yes, the other NPC that I mentioned is Jander, and he is an honored son. But the party has met, really talked to Jared a little bit longer and knows him. And so either way you guys want to do that, it's perfectly fine.
If people are going to go meet with Jarek, I would like to go check the notice board.
Hmm. Okay. Check the notice
If
board.
if that's the plan.
Hmm. Is there anything anybody else would like to do while that's going on, or do one of those two things?
Let's see.
So,
Um,
real quick. Okay. So, that again, Ramune? Okay. So you're changing your idea to you're saying it may be better to go. Mhm.
Yeah, I think Ramune has a good idea there. Checking in with Jander.
Okay, what were you saying, Jono?
um, yeah, Janta's probably the best bet for poison knowledge, but Jarek will probably know the streets better. So, probably start with Janda.
Mhm. Okay. And I did want to make a suggestion that you all can choose to take or not. If you want to go do the message board, you might as well go also to the Alloria Conservation Office. It's in the same building. So, you might as well go there, drop by there too, if you're going to check the message board.
Okay. Are we moving as one or are we multitasking?
I was planning on checking out the notice board and maybe going to pop in on the ACA.
Mhm.
Maybe I would like join me on that.
Yeah, sounds like we're splitting
Yeah,
up.
I'd join Toren.
Okay. Who went the first time? I'll go back and check my notes if we don't remember, but do you all remember who went the first time? I know it was
It
you.
was
Oh, go ahead, Irene. Sorry.
Cypress and Irene went the first time.
Okay, I knew
And
you
then
were.
Ramune and Irene went to visit Dr. Wei.
Okay. Okay. So does anybody not agree with going along with the contract if, if that comes up, which it will inevitably come up? So does anybody oppose to going with the contract that they have proposed for you all to do next? Okay.
The town investigation contract, is that what you're
Yes.
referring to?
Yes, the town investigation contract. And as a reminder, if you want to take a look at that, that can be found. Thank you for posting. I was about to say it's in the wiki, but yes.
Oh, it's also in the journal entries.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a couple of sessions ago. So yeah, was given to you by Dr. Lynn. So if no one was opposed to this, and you can be, I'm not saying you can't, but if no one was opposed to this, to signing this, you might as well take that back to Dr. Lynn and discuss it with her further because you're going to be in the room. Just to save some time. So it does sound like we are splitting up. And so we have Toren and Ramune going to the ACA. And would everybody else like to go to speak with Jander? Or do one of the other
Oh,
things?
Ramune. Okay, Ramune just stepped out because I'd go to the ACA as well.
Okay. So that was Irene and Toren going to ACA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. Okay. Let's do yours. Let's do ACA first then, since Ramuna stepped out, and the message board, obviously, and then the ACA. So, okay. So let me put on our ambiance, our little town ambiance. I always forget. That's not what I wanted to do. One second. We're going to have a 30-second break here while I figure this out. Oh. Okay. So the two of you head off to the Alloran Conservation Alliance office. The streets are fairly, by the way, can someone please put me on mute. I'm echoing through someone's speakers pretty bad. So if everyone could go, who's not talking?
I think it's Gianno.
Yeah, can you put yourself on mute, please? Thanks.
Oh, it's not. I have my headphones in.
It's it was cat popping up every once in a while with the feedback.
My
Oh,
my green light just
Oh.
stays on indefinitely.
Okay.
Sorry, Gianno. It's just the way that looked.
Yeah,
Yep,
no
yep.
problem.
Yeah, you just look guilty. You got a guilty demeanor about you.
It's
Guilty
like,
and
no, Your
possibly
Honor, those
guilty.
aren't my drugs.
Exactly. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so I think I'm good now. Okay. So you all should be able to hear the ambiance. Go ahead and turn it down if it bothers you as usual. So you all walk through the streets and they're, fairly empty because it's pretty early in the morning, but you see the market kind of building up, some of the vendors walking in. You walk through the center of town, a couple people wave to you that have started recognizing your faces, a couple of merchants. So it's a pretty friendly town, kind of wave as you walk by. You head into the Lorien Conservation Office, and sure enough, when you walk into the room the hallway, I should say, where the notice board is, you see a different notice, and this is what it says. My dear old Pappy has passed recently. And hold on, let me see. Are you all? Yeah, you are all notice board. Okay. My dear old Pappy has passed recently, and while going through the boxes he left me, I found this map that I'm pretty sure leads to something cool. The problem is I can't read it. Pretty sure it's Elvish or something because the letters are all curly. If the map leads to some sweet treasure, I'll share it fairly with you. Please come anytime, but the sooner the better. Roderick Poe. And on the bottom of the little message there, it does have some contact information. So that is the message board.
An Elvish map. Toren's going to immediately perk up at hearing Elvish map.
Mm-hmm.
Curious.
Pretty curious, huh? Okay. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't have a time frame on it, although there is a risk that if you wait too long, someone else will have done it. Remember, this does change every few days, so,
I'm going to take that down and kind of slip it in my pocket so no one else can see that.
All right, so you remove the message, you remove the paper from the message board so nobody else can do it, and you take it away. So you are definitely planning on doing this. Okay, cool.
Not right now, but eventually.
At some point. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so we will head into the ACA. Let me just quickly. Okay, so like I did before, I'm going to just put, since this does have vision on it, I'm going to put everybody who is not here in the room so you can see it. So let me just do that real quick. I'll add Andil as well so you can see what's going on so you're not looking at a dark screen. Okay. Okay. So as you walk in, you see Dr. Lynn looking at her desk and rifling through some papers, and she says when she sees you and she says, "Oh yes, come in." And she says, "Nice to see you this morning. You're up early." Actually kind of smooths her jacket down and kind of points to the stools in front of her. I'm going to go ahead and unpause the game so you can move yourselves. And she says, "So, have you considered my contract?"
Yes, it's certainly a worthwhile endeavor, and the terms do seem agreeable. Of course, we do have some loose ends to follow up in regards to town, but we'd certainly be willing to look into these instances.
And she shakes her head and she says, "Okay, well, I'm very happy to hear that. I actually have a coworker of mine that I would like to bring to speak with you for a few minutes about the contract, if that's okay."
By all means.
All right. And she quickly exits the room and comes back in with a person, and I'm going to put them on the map. And there she is. Okay. This is the person. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to move Cypress. There we go. This is the person who enters the office with her. And she stands behind the desk. And Dr. Lin says, hello. So I would like to introduce you to Dr. Solarin, Idea Solarin, and she is the ambassador for the government who represents tribes and represents indigenous peoples to the government. Those who don't necessarily have a voice, she is their voice. Dr. Toren looks at the two of you and shakes and nods her head and says, nice to meet you. You make a couple of
Likewise.
kind of informal, introductions, and she's smiling, but she has a kind of a serious look on her face, and she says, I know that you all have had some interactions with the Vendok barbarians, and there was a little bit of trouble, but most of that was dealt with, referring to Phineas and the things that he did with the Vendok barbarians.
Yeah, don't remind us of that idiot.
And she says, I have been assured by my colleague, Dr. Simic, that he was the only culprit and that the rest of you were not, and that he has been fired from this position and is actually now being punished for his interactions with these people. You must understand that these people are vulnerable to those who would take advantage of them, and they must be protected.
Yes, absolutely. And it gives us some confidence, in fact, having removed that loose end in the form of Phineas to be able to function on these missions with now the added experience and, to integrate ourselves and not cause any disruptions.
And she nods her head and seems to be on board with kind of what you've said. And she looks back at you and she says, okay, well, I did want to talk to you briefly about the Arismir elves. They are a protected tribe. And I'm actually looking further into what's happening with them. So I would ask that you don't go to that assignment just yet, although it is on the contract. But I have some, and she kind of is thinking for the word in her head, and she says, some hesitation as to going right away. We need to investigate that further. And then before you go, please come and speak with me. Engineer says, yes. When you're ready to go, just let me know and do the Brinchander and Cowling first, and then we'll worry about Erismere. Adia shakes her head and nods and says, and there are quite a few things that I will have to brief you about before interacting with the Erismere elves to ensure that we don't impede on their, and she's looking for the word, their preferences. And then she looks at the group and she says, they can be a little bit how we would define xenophobic. So, but we'll talk about that. And she walks over and she kind of is leaning against the wall over here, and she says, most importantly, if you're going to interact with them, as long as you show them respect, it'll be fine. She catches herself and she puts her hand up and she says, not dangerous. Don't mistake. Just, we will be able to help them. I'm a little bit concerned about them disagreeing to interact with me at all. They don't trust the government, and if we mess anything up with them, they may never speak with me again. That's what I'm concerned with. Dr. Lin says, and Dr. Lin looks at her, kind of trying to lighten the mood, kind of clasps her hands together and says, okay, so, as long as you understand, the first two, Bryn Chandler and Cowling, are just small towns. No, there should be no problems there. Although Bryn Chandler is mostly a. Actually, let me look at my notes for that before I say that. Hold on. I'm about to tell you all something not true. Okay. Okay, here we go. You have done an amazing job, actually. Okay. I didn't want to mix these two up. That's why I looked at my notes. So she said, Cowling is the mostly halfling town, and Bryn Chandler is the mostly gnome town. But they're not protected they're not protected groups or protected tribes. Okay, so she takes the papers and she kind of files them away, and she just doesn't really have anything else to share. If you have any questions for either one of them, feel free to ask. If not, we will move. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, just to checking, you said Brun Shanda was halflings?
Bryn Chandler is gnomes.
Brun Shanda
Howling is
is
halflings.
gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
But they're just, they're just regular towns. You all haven't been to any gnome or halfling towns, specifically because the part of the world that you're in is mostly human. If we look at the territories, let's go to the territories real quick again. I'm going to be working on writing more information about the territories. So you all are in Harkenstow. Currently, you were earlier in Vinland. You're now in Korami as a territory. So you're still pretty southwest. So this is a mostly human area. As you go further north, just up where Summersfeld is, this is a gnome there's a gnome town, but it's mostly halfling up here. And so as you can see, Cowling, which is on the map here, that is in that area. Okay. Then as we go up to the northeast, where you see Sandysworth, that is dwarf and half-orc. Sandysworth is a half-orc town, but other than that, it's mostly dwarves. And then if we go south to Jasperberry, that's elves, Elwyn, Goldenshire, Salscrest, elves. And then further south in the Wretch, that is a lot of tribes that are, all kinds of things. Verdurth is a dwarven stronghold, but the area down south over here in the Wretch is all wild. It's very wild. No towns down here, as you can see. Okay, we'll go back. Oops, not there. Go back to the office. Okay, so she is any other questions for either Adia or Dr. Lin?
Nothing in particular. I just say that Dr. Sheridan's concerns are, very valid, and of course we'll keep them in mind when we come back to touch base.
Okay, what about you, Toren?
Eh, he kind of just nods with what Irene says. He doesn't really have anything to input in this scenario.
Okay. All right. So we will move then to the honored sons. Okay, so let me get us there. Okay, so headed to the honored sons, we have the rest of the group. Irene and Tornir in the corner here. Andil, Cypress, and Ramune. There we go. Let's set this up. Get rid of these people. Okay. Okay. So Esta leads you all to the honored sons, I guess you could say hideout or location. Again, as you walk through the town, as they're walking there, she makes a stop at a house. And interestingly enough, you all notice that Jander, this is Jander's house, is not privileged. She's actually a normal person and, has a modest house, firmly middle class. And as they're walking, they explain that he's the one person who is not really from a background of influence. And so when they discovered his talents, he's actually the person who has a little bit more freedom to be a little bit more visible or a little bit more a part of actual missions than they do. So there are times where he may be able to go with you depending on the situation, or at least more visibly with you. So let's pull us all to the scene. Okay. So Esta invites you all to sit on the couch as Jander stands in front of the fire. And he just explains to you kind of what he does and what his talents are. He is a ranger. He is very, very good at staying in the shadows. And he explains that if someone doesn't want to know he's there, they will not know he's there. He kind of gives a little bit of a pat on his arrow, and he says that he's an expert marksman. He actually has been an expert marksman since he was a child. And he kind of talks a little bit about how he used to hunt with his father back when he was a child, and his sisters also are big hunters. And, so it kind of naturally fell into place when the event happened that he would have a talent with arrows that is far beyond normal now. He also has some magical abilities that work pretty well with his archer abilities. And so he is an expert on poisons, an expert on plants, and he really has studied these things quite a bit and also has studied some of the changes that the plants have undergone since the event. However, the unfortunate thing about that is that science and people are still catching up. And so as things are changing, they're still kind of figuring out the situations and the new potencies of these plants. He opens the floor up to questions and to things for you guys to tell him. So if anybody wants to ask him any questions or to explain to him what you found, now would be the time to do that.
I guess I'll approach him and start talking to him about Uh, we were hoping to get your help on identifying some poison reagents that we found.
He nods his head, and he Esta has brought the box of worm tongue, and she hands it over to him. He looks at it and he studies it, and he says, "Oh yes." And he looks at the flower and he kind of like feels it between his fingers. He smells it, and he's just very closely inspecting it, and he says, "Yes." And he says, "This is an item that enhances poisons. So this is a base. It would need to be combined with at least two other ingredients, likely plants." And he seems to be searching his mind, and he says, "There are literally dozens of ways, though, dozens of things that this could be combined with. I wouldn't necessarily know what exactly is being used until I have the second ingredient." And he looks at you all and he says, "You by any chance wouldn't know what the other ingredients were, would you?"
No, but we are working on finding that out. We've got a couple leads to follow up on. Maybe we'll find the second component. We know that this is going to be used in some very upsetting and troubling ways. So we really want to get to identifying what the final product is.
He shakes his head knowingly and he says, "Yeah, whatever is being created, this is going to make it go to overdrive." And he shows you the plant. And he says, "Any poison would be really magnified by this." And he says, and he just sighs and he says, "Oh, yeah, we need to find this and we need to stop it." And he says, "So the people that were trying to get a hold of this, from what I understand," and he looks at Esta and he says, "They've already gotten a hold of some, is that right?"
Some, yeah, but not obviously not enough for what they need. So we're hoping this will delay them significantly by capturing this shipment.
And he says, "Yes." And he says, "It's thank goodness you've stopped this one. Hopefully this is going to make them have to take time to find more of this product. And the store that they were going to is no longer going to be an option, so they're going to have to find another way to get this, and that will take time." So that was it's really good that you all were able to take care of this one. And he kind of walks over and he says, I'm sorry, did we do Cypress? So he kind of walks over and he says, "So I understand also that you were asked to go to Sal's Crest."
Um, yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, that would make sense. Sal's Crest is a shipping town, and so whatever ingredients are coming through there would be the way that they would get to Harkenstow." And he thinks to himself and he says, "And they're probably coming from Tarselvale." And he kind of gives a little bit of a laugh under his breath, and he says, "I would not recommend going to Tarselville." So it's a good thing that they're being shipped to Sal's Crest and they weren't being picked up in Tarselville. And
This sounds like it, yeah.
and he says, "How much do you know about Tarselville?"
Almost nothing. Never been down that way.
He looks at Ramune and Andil and says, "You as well." And he says, "I'm not surprised. It's not a place for people who are, let's say, above the board go. Tarselville is a shipping town in the actually shipping hub in the belly of the wretch, which is incredibly dangerous. Thus, it's ripe for illegal items, ingredients such as this, exotic animals, illegal weapons, even smuggling of people." When he says this, it really seemed to affect him. You could see it in his face. Smuggling of people, smuggling of slaves, all go through this town. Outside of this town is absolute free for all. It's chaos. It's very dangerous. But inside of the town, they kind of let it run because it is very, very lucrative to sell the wares that are sold inside of this town. There are a lot of people who are innocent and who are not criminal who do reside in this town as a normal place to live because it is so lucrative to be able to have a shop and to sell the items that you need into this town. The people that frequent this town do let it run, and there are rarely fights, and there is rarely murder, but you definitely don't want to go out late at night, if you know what I mean. It's definitely a place where you are closed into your homes and locked after 8 o'clock. And the minute you step outside, all bets are off. Most people who go to this town go there through the ferry that goes from Salscrest to Tarselville. And so they don't have to go through the wretch. I wouldn't recommend that, he says, kind of laughing. And then he says, "So," and Esta says, "Yes, I'm really glad that we don't have to go to Tarselville, but in case one day we do end up going, it's good for you all to know kind of what we'd be getting into." And so with that explanation and with that warning, he walks back over to Esta and he says, it may be useful for me to go with you all to Salscrest if anything goes wrong, and I don't expect it to, but at least if I could get my eyes on whatever this shipment is coming from Salscrest, I could identify it at the very least. And even if we don't get a hold of it, and then we can bring this information back. So what do you think? I could travel with you guys to Saltcrest when you're ready to go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's a good chance it's going to be more. It's going to be guarded a lot better than the last shipment. So yeah, we might not be able to get it in the same way. So you being able to identify it without us physically having it is going to be invaluable.
And he shakes his head and he says, "Okay." And he says, "I understand that you all will be leaving tonight to pick up this shipment."
Yeah, they said before. I mean, we'll probably leave before 9, probably an hour or two. How far away is Salscrest?
So Saltcrest would take about half of a day to get there.
Oh,
Now,
then
oh, sorry, let me just add this real quick. So it was mentioned that you might want to scout it out too, so you could go earlier. I'm just throwing that back there. Back to you. Jander is speaking from the knowledge that he has, but it was suggested by the group earlier, Irene specifically, who's not with you all, that you may want to go and scout it out earlier.
Okay, and what time is it now?
It's morning, so 9, 10 a.m., pretty
All
early.
right. I'll tell them we're waiting on part of our group to come back from meeting up with the Alloria Conservation Alliance, but as soon as they're back, we'll probably head out with this information.
Okay. So Jandar thanks you, and he says, yeah, so he says that he'll go back to Estes' house and just wait and to meet you all there. And so whenever you're ready to go, you can go to Estes' house and they will both be there. All right. Any other questions that the three of you have for Jandar or Esta?
No, but we'll see him again soon. So if I think of any, I'll get it to him.
Okay. Okay, so we are done. Sounds like we're done here. Okay. Okay. All right. So few choices we have now. Going back, just kind of, shooting the breeze until probably, however long you all want to wait. Meeting up and talking about what you're going to do, shooting the breeze, going to South Crest early to scout it out, or you definitely have time to do, more things. Well, I think the last thing on the list is going to see Julius Westgard. You definitely do have time to do that if you want to. If you're going to scout it out, let's say you leave by, noon, you're going to get there at like midday. Okay. So you definitely have time to scout out the area if you leave by like noon, 1, 2 o'clock to get there in plenty of time. So yeah, up to you guys. So let's just say that you all go back into town, and the entire group meets back up. Esta and Jander go back to her house. What would you all like to do?
Well, if we're gonna leave, do you think maybe we should go to the market, do a quick stock up on stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, where would you all like to go?
Uh,
I personally would like to head to the blacksmith, but where would everyone else like to go?
I'm not certain, but I guess I'd call it if we are getting some last minute supply.
I couldn't understand
Jono,
that at all.
what did you say?
I couldn't understand that at all.
Oh, I'd be joining Toren if we are getting anything last minute.
Okay.
I wanted to get a crossbow.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything specific that you would like to get at the blacksmith?
Alright, so I have a set of half plate in my current scale mail, and I have over 1,000, and I have 1,000 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to buy plate armor?
All right. Well, let me see. Let me look at my prices. I built like my store into Foundry, so now I have all the prices for everything. Okay, let me go to my. Let me go to my store. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so we're talking full plates, right?
Yes, not it. because I have a set of half plate, but that's the same AC as my current armor.
Okay, so full plate is 1,500. It would also take a day, not longer than that, for them to, they need to kind of fit it and custom make it for you. And then you would be able to get it. So it would cost 1,500.
All right. Well, time doesn't matter. I just want to get the thing ordered. Okay,
Okay.
so I have 1,000. Okay, I have a set of half plate,
Mhm.
and I have a set of scale mail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sell both of these regardless because they're heavy.
Okay, so half plates. See how much would that sell for? How do I not have that in my thing? Okay, let me look here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely done. Yeah. So go ahead and put that. You can put that on. Okay. How much? Sorry. You know what? I'm just not gonna even. My
I
store
mean,
isn't working.
from the inventory screen it says half plate is 750 since it's half a full plate, but I wasn't gonna pay
Yeah.
that.
It's used though, so it's not gonna be quite 750. And I actually had all of this figured out already. So that's why I'm trying to put. So half plate and scale mill, right? So it's not going
Yes.
to be quite, it's not going to be, it's not going to be quite that much. It's going to go for good. Okay, so I think I said, okay, so for half plate, we can do, okay, so you would have enough. Okay, because, yeah, I'm going to say you would have enough. So let's just put it this way. Excuse me, sorry about that. Half plate will be 500. They'll give you 500 for the half plate. And so that will give you the 1,500. And then, I'm going to say 30 for the scale mail.
Okay, so 530 gold for the scale for everything. Okay, so 1623. Okay, so
Yeah. So
remove
you
the
have enough.
1,500. I will pay that. Okay, down to 123. Really glad I made good at the casino that night.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
While we're here, I'd ask how much splint is.
A splint?
Yeah,
Splint
splint
mill.
armor.
Splint armor. Okay. Okay, let's see if my thing is working for that. I'm gonna use my thing that I made, you guys. I spent way too much time making this for me not to use it. Okay. So that is, there we go. Got it. Okay. So that would be 200.
Okay, 200 flat. I'm 2-4 currently. Okay, I'll cross that bridge.
Okay, so you're gonna get that?
I know I can't afford it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear how much money you said you had.
Um.
Or did you
Oh
say?
yeah, no.
Maybe you didn't say.
Actually, no. I will have enough to be able to buy it. I don't know if it needs equipping time, or preparing time, but yeah, I can purchase the splint.
Okay. Yeah, a day or so.
All right, cool. Yeah. So I guess that order's in, and that's me.
Okay. All right.
Oh crap, I
Anything?
just realized I have no armor now.
Well, let's just say you don't give it to them yet. It's fine. I'm not going to hold you on that. You agree that this is what you're going to trade, and so they start making it. Let's say you put down a deposit, and they'll say, okay, when you come back, you'll give us this stuff. So that's fine. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, well,
So
I already
yeah.
I'll give him the half plate just because I won't
Okay.
use
Yeah, you
that.
give them the half plate, you put down, so you give them the half plate, you put down the deposit, and it's agreed upon. When you come back, you'll give them the other one. And so they repurpose this armor. They kind of, make it out to be new again. And so they resell used armor. And so they're going to be selling it probably again as well. Um, Maybe we'll talk about that. Well, let's talk about that after the game. Like seriously, send me a message after the game, and let's talk. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else you all want to buy?
I think Andil said she wanted to buy a crossbow.
Okay, so crossbow.
I think a hand crossbow, right?
No, a light crossbow.
Oh, like
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense too.
okay.
Because I would have given her my longbow, but it's a heavy weapon, and I don't have a
Yeah.
short bow.
Okay. That would be 25.
Okay. I'll just. Yeah, just buy that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else anybody wants to get?
Just for the sake of my future calculations, how much would I be able to sell my chainmail for? The new price is 75. I don't know what the used price would be.
Okay. So chainmail, what do I have for that? 50.
Okay, cool, great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so we are going to be headed. Everybody got their stuff. So where are we going next?
I'm ready to head out.
Ready to head out? Okay.
I am too.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready to head out. Okay, cool. All right. So
Ramune, did you say something about you wanting to buy rapiers earlier? Ah, okay, just wanted to ask.
check your messages when you get a chance. Okay. Okay, so we are headed out. We're headed to Sal's Crest. So, Jander and joins the group, and you all kind of get together, and you kind of have some friendly conversation along the way. You notice Jander he's an elf, so he's pretty slender, pretty tall, and his hair is kind of longish. He is wearing what looks like a full leather, studded leather armor. And as he walks, he's pretty like light on his feet. Even as he walks kind of like how you would think someone who is really athletic or a dancer or something like that would. And after a while, for fun, he kind of plays this game with you all where he disappears kind of in the side, in like the trees, and he asks you to find him, and you're having a little bit of a hard time finding him. And so he's very, very quiet. And so, true to what he said, he's very, very quiet. And so comfortable conversation on the way there, pretty comfortable situation. He tells you a little bit more about how he grew up, how he met the Honored Sons, that sometimes he feels like he has a bit of oops. Hopefully Foundry doesn't shut down on you guys. Actually exited. Sometimes he feels like he has a bit of imposter syndrome because, these are rich kids. They are, but they've always made him feel welcome. And he's grateful that he has found these people who are really helping him. And that the Honored Sons and Esta really do have a worthy cause and really do want, the world to live peacefully. Did I make the comparison to you guys that the Honored Sons are like the Professor X?
Yeah, I think you mentioned that.
Okay, yeah, that's the best way to think of them is Esta's Professor X. Although she doesn't know quite as much about magic as Professor X knew about the mutant powers, but she's Professor X and she helps people with powers. So that's the best comparison to use. But he is extremely grateful, speaks highly of Esta, and says that Esta speaks very highly of you all, and that Esta, has confided in him that, her life was completely changed and took a new direction when you all so selflessly helped her. And that in the past, if she was in that situation, she was embarrassed to say that she probably would have just walked by or went by in her carriage and would not have helped a person who was in the situation that she was in. And that you all helped her grow confidence in herself. So you all head to Crest and you do finally get there.
What did you say was in the fridge?
Everybody, so somebody may want to mute themselves. I'm hearing some background conversation.
I'll be playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's some whispering.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. My dad was talking to me about something. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
no problem. No problem at all. Okay. Let me just quickly.
Were you
Did I
saying
miss
that
anything?
Jander was hiding himself from us and then reappearing?
Yes,
So it was a Jander reveal?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he was just kind of messing around with you all, kind of like, going in the trees, going off the beaten path a little bit, and then reappearing. Okay, so let me get my notes up for Sol's Crest. Okay, so you went out of the town, and there is a heavy smell of salt water as you are near the ocean. And you see people, mostly humans again, at a lot of different stands and selling things like fish. You see it's a huge fish market right in the center of town. You see people with what clearly appear to be, nets and fishing poles and stuff like that. Some of them look to be professional. Some of them look to be just headed down to the docks for fun, to fish. And the city has wooden buildings, and it seems like a pretty modest town. Not quite as big as Crest, but sizable. You see a lot of people who are just kind of enjoying the day, browsing the fish market, browsing the shops as you go. And Jander explains that the area that you would want to go to is kind of in the south end of town, near the docks. He explains that there's nothing there but warehouses. And so wherever you were looking to go is likely some type of warehouse. So to get to this location, you would have to go south. And right now you're just in kind of the entrance area in the fish market part of town. What would you like to do?
I'm rereading that note, and it doesn't say a specific warehouse.
So it
Yeah,
gives.
these stocks.
So it does. Here, let me look at the note. Where I wrote it. Okay, well, Amble, don't fail me now. Okay, party resources, journal. Okay. Okay, yes. So as for right, okay. So I remember what I just said, what I did. Okay, so yes, as far as you know, it doesn't give an exact building. It says East Docks, so East Docks, which Gender explains is southern, and then the docks are southern, and so it would be to the far east, which is called the East Docks area warehouse. So yeah, it does not give specifics, and then it says floor 2 east room. So Gender explains that he would need to go to the area, but he has a pretty good idea of which one it's talking about, just based on what he knows is down there.
All right.
So what would you all like to do? Y'all want to go down
I
there
think
now?
a stakeout. Yeah, just kind of familiarize ourselves a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So kind of now, do you kind of want to not be seen? Obviously just kind of keeping to yourself a little bit and, being nonchalant, I guess you could say, with whatever's down there.
That's the dream. Yeah.
Okay. You're like, no, I don't want to be nonchalant at all. I want to cause so much attention to myself that they know we're coming. Okay, let me get out my tokens. All right, so you all head south again, through just a very bustling town. People just everywhere. And fortunately for you, you probably won't be noticed because there are so many people out, or so you think. As you move closer to this area where Jander says that this would be the crowds, excuse me, the crowds thin out considerably. And so it's pretty empty as you head down. And then you get to a point where there's almost no one around, except for some people here and there. I'm going to pull you to the scene in a second, so you can see what I'm looking at. Jander on the map. Okay. Jander leads the way, and he finally leads you to the area that he refers to as the East Docks. He kind of casually and quietly says to you, okay, so I know that I believe that this is the guild hall of the Coopers. This place is empty, and he points to the place directly north. This place is just I believe that there's just boats in here. And he kind of like peeps in the window and he says, and that is the guild hall over there. And he points to the building. You see a couple of people like standing in front of it. And he says, the Coopers are a guild that makes boxes, barrels, any type of shipping container. I don't know where this person may be because we're at East Docks, but he would definitely have enough boxes to smuggle. He makes quotes with his hands to smuggle in whatever he's smuggling. And he looks ahead and he says, so I don't know where you all want to start, but, and he kind of shrugs and he says, that's what we have here. So north of you here, so where I'm clicking, okay. Empty boats, guild hall.
Are we trying to be stealthy?
Are you?
I'm asking the others because we can pass
I
around the
certainly am.
I would
mean,
say,
I'll
yeah, if you want to help
try.
us mask our presence, that would probably be helpful.
Okay, so yeah, I'll do pass without a trace then.
Okay. All right, so you do pass without trace on everyone? Okay.
Yeah, it's everyone in the 50-foot radius of it.
Okay.
And that's a plus self to self checks. Plus 10. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you all are pretty stealthy. No one can, you're moving along pretty silently. Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got a mango tree.
Alpha. Alright, it's doing this again.
He's gonna do stealth as well. I'm gonna make him public. Xander didn't roll very well. And he's like, okay. But still, it's a 19, so not bad.
Alright, I'll roll 2. My thing is being weird, so I'm reloading. Uh, 15.
Okay, cool. Okay. So where would you go ahead and move your tokens where you want to move them? I'm moving Jander. You don't necessarily have to follow him, and also say kind of what you're doing if you're looking for anything or anything like that. So let me know what you're doing as you're walking.
I guess seeing if there's any windows. I'm guessing if it's a warehouse, maybe there's not, but can't hurt to see if there's any way to peer inside.
Yeah, there aren't windows to this building.
I'm looking to see if there's any doors or like a cellar or anything.
There's a
Figure that
door.
would probably be inside, but
There's a door in the front, and there's a door here. As you go to the back of the building, you see a couple of other people. They are simply kind of talking um, at the guild hall. They're not really paying attention to you, though. They're talking to each other, and they're kind of like walking kind of nonchalantly. There's a door here. There's also a door here.
So there's 2 doors, one here and one here.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jander asks if you want him to go in or try to go in to scope it out.
Yeah, if you think you can get in.
Okay.
It's like make sure to check the door for like tripwires or anything.
Okay, so he will check for traps. Okay. He doesn't notice anything, and he heads inside. All right, so he goes inside, and again, they don't really seem to notice you at all. They're not paying attention. They're just absorbed in their conversations. And Jander is gone for about 10 minutes, and then he comes back out and he says, "Let's go over here." And he whispers to you to go back to the other side of the warehouse, just so in case. What's that, Lilith? In case you are who did that?
I think Jono might have misclicked because he's looking
On
at
D&D
somebody's
Beyond.
sheet.
It's on D&D Beyond. I'm like, how is Lilith? Got it. Okay, yeah, D&D Beyond is picking up. This is picking up everything from D&D Beyond. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
Is that Gianno's character in another campaign you guys play in?
Yeah, it is. It's a character in another campaign. Yeah. Okay. So as he kind of tells you all to gather around so you're not seen by any of the Coopers, and so you can talk for a second. And he says, okay. He says, it's just as suspected, it's empty. It's just a large room with nothing but boxes. If just one big room. And so they're stacked up on top of each other, and there's no upstairs. It's just a storage room, it looks like. And there's no one in there.
Perhaps it's worth checking those boxes out before we get too much further.
Did you see a second floor to the building?
This building does not have a second floor, despite what the map looks like. This is one floor.
I don't think this is the warehouse because it said that the warehouse had 2 floors.
Correct.
Cypress will, as we're talking, he's going to cast locate plants and try to see if there's any of the wormwood flower or whatever it was called, worm tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's any nearby in any of these warehouses.
Okay.
Within the closest one within 5 miles.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't say exactly where. Oh, the direction and distance. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
just the direction and
Okay, got it.
distance. Oh, and distance.
Right. Okay. Okay, so this is less than 5 miles. Okay. So we are at around 2 in the afternoon. And so the delivery wouldn't be here yet, basically.
Oh, yeah, I was just asking, like, maybe they have some around just in general
correct.
because they've
No,
been
I'm
working
just
on it. Yeah.
correct. I'm just adding that to what I was about to tell you about in the
Oh,
around as
sorry.
well. Yeah, no problem. So the delivery, yeah, I perfectly understood why you did that. So the delivery, wouldn't be there yet. However, you do check to see if there's anything in any of the buildings, any nearby. Maybe someone has some in their house, that they're going to be delivering later. And you do not pick anything up as of yet.
Okay.
So probably whoever's traveling is still making their way there.
All right, yeah, that's good to know. I'll tell the group that I checked and I don't see any traces of the plants around. So yeah, we'll need another lead.
While Cypress was doing find plants, can I ritual cast detect magic?
Yes.
Yeah, I can actually do my thing as a ritual, so we'll take the time together and cast the ritual.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the detect magic then. So we'll just say you had ritual cast this and you didn't detect any plants at the moment. Cypress, or any of these specific plants at the moment. Toren, you do detect magic. You take your 10 minutes and you do not detect any magic in the area at all. Not in this area.
Oh, that was the bust, but it was worth a shot.
And Gender agrees and says, no, it was good thinking. And he says, well, then it probably isn't this building because you said that, because it says second floor. So this definitely only had one floor.
Well, it might still be worth checking at the very least.
And he asks if you want him to go in again and what do you want him to check?
Before he does, like, why don't we check this building and you go look around and see if you can find a 2-story warehouse.
Okay. Okay. So everybody is going to go into the building and Jander will look around.
Well, I wasn't saying we had to. I was just putting out a suggestion.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he totally agrees. He agrees. He can definitely look around. So he'll look for a 2-story building, if that's what you all want to do. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Jander disappears. Not literally, but he goes off. Which door would you all like to go in?
Um,
I'll go in the back door.
Okay. Okay, back door. Everybody back door?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. So you all head in, and as Xander said, it is a room with just a lot of boxes and barrels. Many of them are empty. I would like whoever cares to go ahead and roll investigation, and after you roll it, tell me what you're looking for specifically.
Alfred.
So I'm basically looking for boxes that have stuff in them but doesn't feel like they're dense, because we're presumably looking for like plant matter. So it could be maybe like something in them full but not heavy per se.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Heck,
Okay.
that is really freaking annoying. Alright, my D&D Beyond is crapping out for some reason.
Hmm.
Cypress will be looking for basically the same thing: ledgers, papers, any kind of record of what's coming in and out.
Okay. By the way, Toren, you can use your character sheet through Foundry as well if D&D Beyond is acting weird.
Yeah, it is. So, okay, here's what we're going to do at 8.
Okay.
Really annoying because I kept rolling 21s when my thing was crapping out. But I wasn't going to do that because that would be
Well, you had a long rest after, because you went to bed the night after you did the last fight. So you definitely did have a long rest last night. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you're up to whatever the long rest did. You've gotten that back. Okay, so
okay. That fixed it. What it? Okay, I don't understand anything anymore. Okay, I can roll again. So, yay!
okay, so it's working in. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Oh, that's happening. Very annoying. Okay, Andil, you wanna look too, or you're just gonna?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd also be looking for like boxes and stuff where there might have been something, or like they're preparing to put something in it.
Okay.
And it's an investigation.
Yes. Okay. Ugh, these were not great. Okay. Um, okay, so everybody, you're all a little bit distracted, and the best word for this is just eager to find something. Irene, you're looking first, you're kind of testing boxes, seeing how heavy they are, kind of feeling them out. And there's so many boxes in here, you all. There are boxes and barrels. I mean, this is a warehouse. It's not small, and it is full of containers. And so it's a little bit difficult for you all to really go through these meticulously because there's so many, and you find yourself just kind of like, when you look at like something too long and your eyes start seeing the same thing, you kind of find yourself kind of fatiguing at looking through so many barrels and so many boxes. And you don't really find anything of note. Some of the boxes are lighter. You quickly take a peek in, um, and they're filled with things. Like you find a box with, bobbins inside of it for sewing, and you find a box with just like blank paper in it, like parchment, but nothing that looks like plants or anything like that. So nothing of that sort. Um, and then Ramune, you are looking for papers and, ledgers and stuff like that. And you don't find anything like that. Now that this sort of makes sense with in your head because this does appear to be more of just a storage. And so, if someone is keeping records, maybe they wouldn't just leave it in here. I mean, it's kind of what you're thinking. There's no desks, there's no office, nothing like that. There's no even tables, there's no quills, and there's a wide berth between the rows of boxes. So obviously, like a person comes in with some type of cart, takes boxes out or brings boxes in, and there's a path. But this is a very, this warehouse is very, it's not organized in a way that, I mean, it's organized by type of item, but it's not organized in a way that is very meticulous. And so definitely nothing like that. Um, Now, Andil, tell me exactly what you were looking for again.
Stuff in boxes.
Just in general, like what's in the boxes, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you find boxes with cloth, you find boxes with paper, and Irene, you also notice the boxes with cloth since you're looking for lighter things with clothes, but nothing significant that seems to, you know, be what you're looking for per se. Toren and Cypress. Specifically, what are you all looking for?
Uh, Weapons, anything that seems out of place in a fishing town, or in a yeah.
Okay, Ramune. Sorry, not Ramune. Cypress.
Um, like ledgers and papers, the same thing Ramune was looking for. Just
Okay. Yeah, since I did already explain that, I will say that you don't find anything like
yeah.
that. Torin, weapons and shields and whatever armor, even things that are unusual, you look through pretty carefully, and you don't really find anything that is intact. What you do find is you do find some like hilts that are not attached, a couple boxes of hilts that are not attached to blades. So maybe this is something going to like a shop or to a blacksmith shop or something like that.
Are those sword hilts, spear hilts? Like, are they for larger or smaller weapons?
They're for different types of weapons. So sword hilts, spear hilts, dagger hilts, etc.
Okay.
But no complete weapons, and you don't see the blades. So, going somewhere, you recognize them as pretty finely crafted, but not anything that is, particularly that particularly stands out. I would like someone, please, to roll a D100. Anybody can do it.
All right. Roll.
Okay. So a little bit defeated that you all didn't find anything. And since there are so many boxes, you've been in here for quite a while. And for the better part, and this is based on your roll, of an hour. And as you kind of are finishing up and putting things back together, you hear some chatter and some voices and some footsteps right outside the front door. What do you do? Hide behind boxes? Tell me how you're all hiding. If you are hiding. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, do a quick investigation check to see if you find a box fast enough to hide inside. Because you're looking fast. Okay. You look around real quick and you don't find a box that is big enough. And as the voices get closer,
Can
oh
I silently make some boxes? I guess like a line of boxes, kind of in front of whoever's next to me.
yes. Yeah, so go ahead and do silent image. I mean you don't have to cast it, but you go ahead and cast silent image. How big is this? How big is this image?
It can be a 15-foot cube.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe you would get 3 people behind that because we're talking about 5. Unless you kind of like pile on top of each other. I'm going to say that just due to but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that there are, you know what? Everybody roll, except for Irene. Let's make this interesting. Everybody except for Irene roll the D2. The D2 is the first one, or oh no, it's a D. Okay, so you can do there's a D2 on here. So you can do R, \R -D2. I think you didn't put this space there. So backslash R space D2. Yeah, just put space D2. No problem. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with the odds. No problem. Okay. So the odds are going to be the people who are not close enough to Irene. The evens are. So Cypress and Toren, you're able to scurry behind the box next to Irene, and Ramune and Andil. Did Andil roll? Hold on. Cypress. So, I rolled myself. Okay. Okay. So, thank you. Okay. So the three of you are able, Andil, Toren, and Cypress are able to kind of crowd behind Irene's image. Ramune, you are still out there and you're not close enough. So what do you want to do? Now there are boxes that are, stacked. If you want to just hide behind a stack that you see, the first stack you see. Okay. So you do have enough time just to barely hide behind a box, but because it's not high enough for you to stand, so you become a puddle right as you see the people walking in the door. Everybody please roll self-check. Now, passes out trace, does that last an hour, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not on at the moment. Okay. Okay. Oh no, Irene. Okay.
Well, considering me and Irene are both wearing heavy armor, I'm surprised I rolled as well as I did.
Right. Everybody's with Irene. That's so unfortunate. That's where everybody is. Okay. Okay. So you hear these guys and, so you guys can see them. Ramune, you can't see them because you're down in a puddle. You're actually behind something, but everybody else can clearly see through the image because it's an image. So you can see them. And they're kind of just walking in, do. And they're kind of having conversation hey, did that shipment come in? And these are guys, they're muscled and they have their sleeves rolled up and they're wearing, t-shirts, and one is wearing a flannel shirt, and they're wearing heavy boots, and they're coopers. I mean, they're clearly people who work in this warehouse. Coopers, would definitely be, they're the people that make the boxes. So they also may have some working on the shipping and receiving items from the docks as well. These guys' muscled arms definitely look like arms that are constantly hauling large boxes back and forth and large barrels back and forth. And so they kind of walk in and they're okay, last shipment and is going to be here later today. And, they're kind of just having general conversations. As they're coming in, Irene, you feel okay, so everybody please mute yourself. I hear some background noise. Irene, you feel a huge sneeze coming, and you're trying to hold it back because you're like, ugh. And you are trying so hard to hold it back. And right as they walk by, you just let out this loud sneeze, and they're like, oh, and they turn around, and the sneeze was so big that your arm even went through the image, and it instantly kills the image for them. And they look at you, the three of you, and they're like, thieves, stealing from the warehouse. And they just look at you as they say that. I said three of you, but I meant four of you because it's Toren, Andil, Cypress, and Irene.
Yeah.
So They look at the four of you and they are like, thieves.
I kind of start glaring at Irene. It's like, nothing we say is going to make this situation look any better, is it?
And they kind of look at each other and they look back and they say, empty your pockets and your bags. Yes. No, you could use them. You could definitely knock them over. There are some that are secured and some that are not. This warehouse definitely doesn't meet OSHA standards. So there's some dangerous stacking definitely going on in here. So they're not standing directly by boxes that are stacked that high, but you can definitely make boxes fall. The boxes, so just so you understand, the boxes that are stacked high are along the sides of the warehouse, kind of using the walls as, to be stacked by. They're kind of in the middle, and so they wouldn't really be next to boxes that were that high. Okay. Okay. So right before you do that, because they said, empty your pockets, do you guys do that or you guys just look at them?
Cypress will start talking. He'll say, "We're here. We heard you had a rat problem. We're the exterminators."
Okay, well, we'll do this pretty quickly. Right after their reaction of this, we'll do the boxes. Go ahead and roll deception on that. Okay, and he's
I
gonna.
mean, it's not terrible.
It's you know what? Considering the situation, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. Let's put it that way.
Cypress is he's gonna turn around for a second and he's gonna quickly do this. And he's gonna, when he turns back around, he's gonna have a rat in his hands.
Okay.
He's like,
Okay.
"Yeah, I caught one."
So you pick up. So you turn around and you pick up and you show them a rat. And they kind of look at each other and says, "Do you call an exterminator?" And the other one says, "No. Did you?" And they're like, "No." They both look a little bit confused. And they kind of look at you like puzzled. Right at that moment, there is a crash behind them. And boxes fall. So Ramune has toppled the first box and it makes the whole stack fall. And it's just a large crash. And they both turn around and look and are like, "Oh, you didn't secure those boxes?" And they both are like looking around. So their attention is behind them for just a split second or two.
We should all cheese it, I think.
Okay, so you're just gonna run. So everybody's just gonna run, right?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
I almost said, I'm gonna punch both of them and knock them out. I don't think that would be a good idea, though.
I mean, kind of looking at them, they do seem like they might be able to handle themselves. So these aren't weaklings. All right, so everybody just books.
As we're running out, I'll say, see, the rats are pushing over boxes as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's like
go-
you've caused enough problems today, Irene.
so we're gonna do a group athletics roll, to see how quickly you get out. And we will average the roll. And so everybody roll athletics, please, and they will also roll athletics. Oh,
Oh
nice,
man,
Toren.
Toren.
That came at the right time. Okay.
Um,
Definitely.
I was like, Toren may be weighed down by heavy armor, but it doesn't exactly affect him all that much.
Apparently not. Okay.
could I make a plea for an acrobatics roll instead?
I was like,
Sure. Yeah, go do acrobatics. Okay. All right.
I kind of just like me to like just like throw Irene and Andil over my shoulders and just book it.
Exactly.
You can't lift me, sir, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Okay,
I'm
and
not
so
supposed to be picked up.
yeah, I think Andil is pretty skinny.
Yes,
Do you oppose to being picked up?
not at all.
All right. Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna do this. Okay, so has everybody rolled our Ramune? No. Mm-mm. But you're gonna be seen once you start running, so you wanted to stay in. Got it. Okay, you're not running. Perfect. Okay, yeah, so you're still hidden. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no, you could stay in. I mean, you're behind a box, so they're not going to necessarily see you right away. So, okay. So, let me have them roll, and
Oh, and I'll drop the rat before I leave, so it stays in the warehouse.
okay,
So that's a little familiar.
okay. So they're both going to roll athletics. Okay, athletics. All right. Definitely. So, unfortunately for them, they only have two, and one of them got a good roll, but the other one dragged it down. So, okay, so yeah, so you all, because they're like kind of distracted by the noise, you all get maybe a second or two head start for them before they realize what's going on. And Toren just throws Andil, who's kind of also recovering, over his shoulder and heads to the back door. And everybody else just books it and heads to the back door, and they're like, It takes them a second to realize it. They start running after you, but they're pretty far behind. Also, these are big guys, but apparently they don't work on their cardio too much, because you can see them quickly you can see them like quickly getting winded as they chase you behind the building and down the docks. They seem to give up after 100 yards or so outside, and one of them shouts back at you, "Don't come back," as they head back into the warehouse. So you all manage to get away. The two of them do head back into the warehouse, and they're bickering back and forth. Ramune, you can hear about not locking the doors. This warehouse is supposed to be locked, not securing the boxes, and mostly useless information of just kind of like petty bickering. um they do, but as they talk, they do talk about you know some how do I explain this? So they talk about a guild meeting or later that night, and they do talk about repurposing the other warehouse, the smaller one down below, for more storage and more boxes. So they have a conversation about that. But they say they do give you the impression that that currently does not hold any boxes. Um, and through their conversation, they talk about the guild hall, and they do mention kind of, throughout the conversation, well, I'm not going to say they mentioned this directly, but you do get from the conversation that this guild hall is fairly large, and it sounds like it probably does have an upstairs. At one point they mentioned like a bar, they mention offices, they mention a storage room or two. And so you kind of get the feeling that this is a pretty large warehouse, or a pretty large building, and that it has a lot of rooms in it. After a few minutes of them kind of, like I said, wandering around, and they go over to where the boxes are, where the boxes fell, and they kind of pick them up, and they put them back, and they don't notice you. And then they leave the warehouse.
Actually, Cypress will find a safe place outside, and he'll enter and he'll share his senses with the rat. He'll find Ramune, and
Okay.
so
So
Ramune could ostensibly talk to the rat, and so he wouldn't know. The rat would go and kind of nudge him and see if he figures it out, because I wouldn't be able to communicate it with him otherwise.
okay, so Ramune, you were kind of still in a bit of a puddle, so you didn't necessarily see what Cypress did with the rat. Right. So the
Right.
rat's gonna nudge you. How do you react to that?
Um, the rat is gonna sort of like plop down and get on its back like a cat.
Yeah, go ahead and make an intelligence check. Yeah.
You can just ignore the rat, though. I'm not. It's just a rat.
Okay. You're just like, this rat is acting really strange, and you just want to look closer at it. But you're not ignoring it. You decide to kind of look closer at it and see what it's doing.
It's gonna do its best to look sad, and it's gonna go away. And I guess that's the end.
This building does not have an upstairs. They were talking about the building next to it. Yeah. Yeah. It has only boxes and barrels in it, but the building, I'll click here. This building is what they were talking about. That's the guild hall. And this is the one that has the upstairs. This one is the one that they're talking about repurposing for a as a place to a storage place. So you're talking about, sorry, where are you checking? There's only one floor in this one. Yeah, there's only one floor. Okay. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I probably said in a way that was confusing. Yeah, no, it's literally just like a large storage room, like one room. Okay, cool. All right. So you head out, and as you're walking out, you see Jander, and he says, "Oh," and he kind of says, he walks over and he says, "I saw them running that way." And he says, "But I decided to I don't know what happened. But I decided to look around a little bit more." And so he kind of leads you to the center of town. And eventually, because this is a small town, you all find each other. So we're not going to belabor that. But you all do find each other around the fish market area. Okay, so it's still afternoon. You have been seen by a couple of people, but you did get away. And Jander just gives everybody a brief overview that what he saw in the smaller building was boats, like a couple of rowboats, and some oars and some canoes that were kind of stacked on top of each other. And he doesn't even think that he had the feeling that this was like a privately owned building and that it wasn't part of the warehouses because there were no boxes or anything in that. So what would you all like to do? You still have few hours or so until this so-called delivery is going to be there. Okay. Okay. So Ramune explains that the little bit of what he heard about the layout of the other building and that it is a guild hall.
Do we notice any windows? So from like the single story warehouse, are there any windows facing the guild hall?
No,
Okay.
there's no windows at all.
Well, since we've been made, it may be harder to casually enter the guild house, under regular pretenses, so to speak.
Mm.
So we might be best off just showing up right before the transaction and seeing what we can do to close off the area.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would say it seems really heavily guarded. Yeah, we're not having a good time right now.
All right, so I'm going to turn this into night. Um, I'm going to move us back to the other map. For a second. Before we head back to the warehouse. So is there any Jander has some information to give you all, but he'll give that when we're ready to go. So he has additional information. So is there anything that you all want to do in town? Don't necessarily have to, but is there anything you all want to do in town before heading back to the warehouse before the time? Or do you just want to wait it out and go to the warehouse?
Somehow I managed to buy a bow without arrows.
You want to buy what?
Somehow I managed to buy a bow and forgot to buy arrows.
I'm sorry, you managed to buy a bow.
And forgot to
You
buy
bought-
arrows.
Oh,
Yeah, she bought her crossbow and didn't buy bolts.
oh, does anybody have any bolts?
I have 30 crossbow bolts, but they're for a heavy crossbow.
Oh, okay. I mean, you can buy bolts in town if you want to do that. That's fine. the town would have crossbow bolts. It's definitely not a place that would have a lot of weapons or armor, because it's like a bit. It's really a trading hub, to be honest with you. Not the biggest trading hub in the area, but it is a trading hub, and a shipping hub, and so yeah, you can definitely find crossbow bolts. So those are pretty cheap. So let's see what I put the price on those for. And you have enough time to do that before this happens. So, okay, so yeah, so you can go ahead and buy 1 gold. We'll get you 20 crossbow bolts.
Okay.
Okay, anything else you all want to do in town, or do you want to just head to the Coopers that night?
Yeah, I'm solid.
Okay,
Same with me.
okay, cool. Okay, so Jander had managed to kind of stealth around all of the buildings. And he managed to see some things in about the guild hall. He had noticed that there were a lot of windows. He went on all sides of it. And there was a top and bottom window on both sides. He explains that he doesn't know what's inside. He didn't get inside, but there's pretty much let's see how many windows are there. So there's a top and bottom window on the left side. Yeah, okay. So there's I think 4 windows. Hold on. 1. So okay, so we're talking about the right side. So there's a top and bottom window. Here, let me bring you back to so you can see where I'm clicking. Okay. So there's a top and bottom window. Can you guys see where I'm clicking right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, move your tokens wherever you can see at this point. We're not going to say that is you're actually moving there to where they can see you. Okay. Okay, so there's a top and bottom window here. There's a window here, which is like a bottom window in the middle. And there's just a top window here. Okay, you can ask me to repeat this, by the way. No problem if you don't remember. Okay. Then on the other side, there's a bottom window and a top window. And then there is a bottom window and here, and there is a top window here. Okay. So there's a lot of windows for you to go in if you choose to do that. There's a door here, and there's a door here. Both of these doors have people in front of them. This door has 2 people in front of it, and this door has a person there, and there are just some people that are casually kind of walking out over here in behind the building. So that's the setup. So everybody move yourselves back over here to where Jander is, please. And let me know how you'd like to approach this building.
Wait, why is my guy glowing?
Pregnancy? Does it look like there's people going in and out of the front door at regular intervals?
There are people regularly going in and out of the front door, but there are two people that are standing, kind of consistently just standing there. And the people are coming from, by the way, over here. So the path leads this way. They're coming from over in this direction. So any ideas how you want to approach this building?
So Cypress will do the same thing earlier, where he summons a familiar using his wild shape,
Okay.
but this time it'll be a cat,
Okay.
and he'll motion over to Irene to ask if she can do the same thing she did earlier to make the cat invisible that she did to Ramune.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll use my invisibility and I'll cast it on the cat.
Okay, so we have an invisible cat.
And I'll have the cat approach and try to, slip in the door when somebody else walks in.
Okay.
So
Now, explain to me, so with this cat, can you see through the cat's eyes?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
no.
a familiar. It's using my wild shape to cast familiar as an action without the casting time or material components.
Got it.
So it's just a fine familiar that lasts for 2 hours.
Okay, cool.
And
Okay.
yeah, so I would go to like somewhere safe and I would use my action to see through its senses and leave my body vulnerable. And yeah, control it while I
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. So this is what we're gonna do. Since you can literally see through the cat's eyes, we're going to let you see into this warehouse. So but just you.
yeah.
So let me quickly get that ready. And as they're doing it, and in case we'll see.
Oh,
We'll see. Oh, go ahead.
I would, and I would tell my companions before that I'm gonna try and get the cat in and open a window for us to come inside.
Okay. Wait, get the cat to open a window?
Oh, yeah, I suppose that's no, I guess I'll just scout it out.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let me bring you in, but you are the cat. So I'm going to take Ramoon's character. So what I'm going to do, you guys, is everybody else is going to see a black screen. Um, I'm only going to put Cypress in here. And so you'll be able to see. Okay, so let me do that now. Cypress. Okay. So you do manage to get the cat to slip in to the front door right as a person walks in. And this is what you see. You can describe this to the group as you go. Now, remember, you are an illusion, so I mean, not illusion. You are invisible. So, I'm gonna go ahead and roll stealth for the sound,
Yeah,
to see if
yeah.
you're heard.
Let me actually bring up a cat. Okay, that's +4 for stealth, so and a dex of +2. So that's actually exactly what Cypress's stealth roll is. Nice. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
All
so
right.
it'll.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying like I'll path like under the tables and maybe see if I can hear anything that's going on at the bar, if there's anything like important going on.
Okay, so do you want to sit there for a second and kind of
Yeah,
like, okay. And you could describe to the group, by the way, if you want to as well, what you're seeing.
yeah.
Um, okay. So you sit there for a minute and you listen to what they're talking about at the bar. And I mean, you see like a bartender, he goes in the back every once in a while, and then he comes back out and he talks. And these people are shooting the shit. I mean, they're not talking about anything worth noting. It's very casual, as you would expect people to be at a bar. Nothing at all worth noting. Um, they're a little bit they're rough. So they're talking about things like, I don't know. They're you can tell they're a little bit rougher around the edges, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know exactly what they'd be talking about that would prove that. But just the speech and the language that they're using, this is a very they're very much at home here. But yeah, nothing of note other than just some people just bullshitting around and sitting at a bar.
Okay, then I guess Cypress he'll head upstairs
Okay.
and I guess to wherever the windows would have been. Would that be? I guess were they on the first floor? Or
Yes.
no, they're yeah. Okay, so the windows are over here, so not a lot of
I'm gonna tell you exactly where the windows are. Um,
Okay,
so you don't see any windows on this side, okay?
all
On
right.
the side you're on. You see a window here and a window here. Now, do you remember there's a room over here?
Oh,
So,
right.
okay, so you can't see this. So you do see a window here,
Yeah.
okay? And you don't see the other window that was on the bottom floor because there were two windows on this side. But so basically window here, here, and here is what you see at the moment.
Okay. So yeah, no real way to get in because just be into a crowded area. He'll scout the upstairs then.
Okay. So Cypress is headed upstairs.
A little cramped. Uh oh yeah, I guess yeah, because nobody else could see. There was like a bar area and just people milling around. What is this guy doing?
He is just kind of milling around, not doing much of anything.
Okay. Um Guess I'm not gonna open any doors as a cat. Uh oh man.
Yeah, you run into some closed doors upstairs.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I guess that's it for upstairs.
So there was a window.
Oh yeah, there was a window upstairs. How high up is it?
2 stories.
Um,
So just a second story, just a regular second story.
okay. Um, I'll scout. Oh, is this going downstairs or is this
Yep.
also going upstairs?
Also going upstairs.
Is this guy chilling too? Doing anything of
Yeah, he's standing around. He's kind of looking around, but not doing much.
are there any is there any are any of these crates or boxes open? I mean, I guess I'm at ground level, so
No, you're on the second floor at the moment.
No, I mean, I'm on the, I'm level with the ground as a cat.
Oh,
Like
correct.
yeah.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be
Uh-huh.
able to peer over the tops or anything.
Right. Unless you jumped into the box, which might, or tried to jump into a box, which might make some noise. But
Right.
yeah, no, you see, so the guy is just standing there, kind of looking around. Um, there's a window here, so he kind of peers out the window for a second. But other than that, he's just kind of looking around.
Okay. And can I try and like make a perception check with smell to see if I can smell what's going on up here?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Pretty high check, so
Actually, no. It would be with the familiar. So it would the cat only has +3 to perception, so
okay.
it would be a 14.
Okay. So you're sniffing around the barrels and the boxes and things like that, and nothing of note as far as what you can
Oh,
smell.
it has a sorry. It has advantage on the check with smell.
Okay, go ahead. Okay,
Oh, nice. So 19 that time instead.
okay. So you are again. You're sniffing around. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll stealth. You'll see why in
Okay.
a second. Okay. You're sniffing around and trying to see, is there anything that is different, is unusual? You pick up now cats have a very strong sense of smell, obviously. So you pick up a faint scent of something that is different. Um, and it's right next to the guy, actually. Right here where I'm clicking,
Yeah.
there's a large barrel and it smells like grass, but you can't quite identify it.
Okay. Um. All right. I guess having scouted what I can and noting the position of the second floor window that wasn't as you know observed or guarded, he'll try to make his way out.
Okay. Okay.
And
So you just wait another second for the door to open and slip out.
okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so Cypress has learned a few things. I assume you're telling the party as you go.
Yeah. Just I found it's a really crowded place. There's some maybe some odd things being stored on the right side and on the left side. There was at least one unattended window that maybe we would have access to.
So the other scene. Everybody there. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're back at the other scene. What would you all like to do with this information that Cypress has found?
And you would have mentioned that you smelt a grassy barrel, right?
Yeah, just some odd. I'll notice some odd smells from the storage area. And I would have described it as the grassy thing, like maybe it was another plant reagent.
Okay, that does sound like our best bet.
Um, Cypress will note that the window is on the second story, and we'll ask Ramune if he's capable of lifting some of us into it with his telekinesis. If we manage to get it broken or open or some way.
Okay, so how would you like to Ramune can't use his telekinesis, so how would you like to approach?
Would you like me to make a distraction at one of the entrances, and perhaps the rest of you could you know, infiltrate from there?
It's like I can provide distraction too, just as an option. Kind of really depends on who's the more acrobatic of the two of us, Irene.
Oh, I was thinking magical in terms of my distraction.
Well, I meant acrobatic in terms of infiltration. Yeah, true, but that might be too good of a distraction.
What were you both thinking to do as distractions, Toren and Irene? What were your ideas?
A combination of a silent image and thaumaturgy to give some startling and spooking.
Okay.
And mine was a combination of create bonfire and prestidigitation.
Okay, so you're both kind of going along the same, yeah, both kind of along the same lines there. Okay. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we would you have to stay outside or would you be able to go in, after doing the distraction?
I
It
could go in.
it would kind of depend, I think, on what kind of response they do.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Because for both of our spells, I think we have to physically see what we're doing.
Okay.
I mean, only for casting, I could just leave the
Yeah,
concentration up.
yeah. I meant for casting, but at the same time, we have to either be close enough to the window and still be able to see that we might get spotted, or to be far enough away to cast that's being spotted and not be able to get into the window.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I'm content staying out of the window and letting you guys do the infiltration.
so Irene, then do you want to go ahead and since you'll stay outside, then why don't you go ahead and do if everybody agrees the distraction and everybody else stay in? Or everybody else try to go in, sounds like, unless someone else wants to stay out.
It's like, well, Irene, if you want to infiltrate, I will stay out.
Yeah,
I
you
was
guys
just putting out that I can do the distraction too.
You gave me my business for not being sneaky enough just an hour ago, so I'm gonna stay out and play to my strengths with my my
true.
clanky sneezy self.
True. Irene did almost get you all arrested, perhaps. Um, okay, do you agree with that, Torin? Okay.
And Kat can use silence with her monk abilities. So my idea was we cast silence on the window and then break it, and then sort of stealthily move in as we.
That was the plan.
Okay. Okay. So okay, that makes sense. So let me just make sure I have this all right then. So Irene is gonna do the distraction, which you'll describe in a second. We're ready to do it in its entirety. Everybody else is going to go in and you're going to cast silence, break the window, and then Ramune is going to be able to move 4 people up. Okay, so that would be Jander, Andil, Toren, and Cypress. would go in. Got it. Okay, and you two would stay out. Okay.
Well, I have enough rope that I can let you down a rope and pull you up.
Mm-hmm. So you could do that too.
Hey, that works.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're gonna need all the help we can get once we're actually inside.
And
Okay.
that's a thing for you too, Irene, if you think you want a chance to get into the window.
I mean, I think Irene will be doing good. Just creating the distraction downstairs.
Yeah. Okay. So so that sounds like a plan. So let's go ahead and put ourselves kind of into position for what we want to do. Irene, describe your distraction in more detail, please.
Okay, so let me get my stuff. Just double check the range. Okay, so okay, I see these two lugs here, right?
Yes.
Measuring tool on the foundry is over here. Great. Okay. So I probably wait until the party is okay. Do you guys want to pass behind the building, or are you gonna try and just go through like here?
I think we were gonna try the window I saw was over here. I think like on the second story.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys start making your way towards the back, then I can draw more attention to the front.
Oh yeah, we'll go around this way. I'll go around the left side and come down that way. You think, or?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I'll
if you
keep an
do
eye
that,
for
you're a little
anyone at the
bit
back.
more. Sorry, if you do that, you're a little bit more hidden behind the building. So,
Yeah, well.
okay, Jander will follow. Move this guy over here. As you all kind of look around the corner, you Toren, not Toren, sorry, Cypress, you see that there is one guy who is kind of standing there and another guy he's walking back and forth, so he's kind of looks like he might be patrolling. So he's doing this thing, and then he's going back and down here. Okay, so go ahead and move yourselves.
Okay. I guess we should roll stealth to avoid being seen by this guard over here.
Yes,
Hold
group
on.
stealth.
Before we do, can I check a rock over by that guy to see if I can make him turn his head?
Check what? I'm sorry.
Can I throw
Check
a
what?
rock to
Oh,
try
okay.
and not to hit him, but to distract him? Kind of like over here.
You want to throw a rock at that guy?
Not at him, but
But
to
like
draw his
past him.
attention. Yeah,
Like,
past
Oh,
him to draw
past
his
him.
attention.
Go ahead and roll. It's really far. Go ahead and roll athletics.
All right, athletic. Ah, did the virtual tabletop map founding again? Hold on a minute. I rolled 21 when doing that, but okay, let's try this again. It's because of the way I have my keyboard set up. Whenever I right-click to move the mouse, my computer really does not like that.
Okay.
Okay, wow, that's the reverse of what I rolled earlier.
You rolled a 21 earlier?
Yeah, it went 21-5, and then for this one it's 5-21.
Okay, we'll
That
take
roll
the
that didn't
21. I believe you. Okay. Okay. So you.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah,
I
I'll
just
believe you. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was like, I didn't expect that, but for
Okay, so you take
okay,
your.
those were missed.
So for some reason you're like cutting in and out. So hopefully that gets better. But okay, so I'll just ignore the other two. So I'm gonna go with the 21. So you take your arm and you kind of wind up and you throw the rock as hard as you can. And it doesn't quite manage to sail past the guy. It falls like right behind him. He turns around and looks at it, and he turns around and like kind of looks up, and you see him squinting his eyes like towards you all, and then he turns back around again, and he walks over this way. Go
Oh,
to roll. Everybody roll stealth, please.
worked anyway. Uh,
Okay,
nice.
pretty good. Chandra will roll as well. Okay. Okay. So you all kind of start to lumber down towards the door, and you're making a little bit more noise because you're kind of trying to get there quickly. And as you approach, so keep walking towards the edge. Everybody keep moving.
Okay.
Oh, so,
Keep bumping into the walls. Yeah.
I forget, for me it's a lot easier, so sorry about that. If you just hit the left, it should be, or the right, I mean. Okay.
Oh yeah, you could use the arrow keys to move.
Yeah, you can use the arrow keys.
That's cool.
So as you move like right, so as you're right here, let's see who got the lowest. It was Jander. Okay. So everybody goes, and as Jander is like about to cross, you see the guy reappear. And he sees Jander, and he's like, "Hey!" He doesn't see the rest of you, but he sees Jander, and he starts to walk towards you. Jander immediately walks towards the guy,
Oh.
as to not to get him to now. So he only saw Jander. Okay.
Okay.
So because Jander was the last one kind of headed towards, the rest of you were, behind the building. Jander immediately starts walking towards him. So you could deduce probably so that he won't walk all the way, to see everybody.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna he's gonna try and distract the guard while we
Yes.
do our thing.
So Jander immediately walks towards him, and you can hear a conversation between Jander and this guy happening. Okay, so you can't hear exactly what they're saying, but you hear voices and you can't make out what they're saying. Okay, so again, you see a top window here, and you see a couple of rooms here. Okay, so now, so Irene, what exactly are you, in detail, what exactly are you creating for the guys in the front?
I would like to basically make like this really creepy apparition of like this young like drowned like like a ghost of a drowned young lady. Like looks like she's like soaked in this nightgown, like half transparent, but of course silent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so as this is all happening, Irene creates this image of this young girl. And does she come up like on the docks? Is she floating in the water? Where is she?
It's 60 feet from where I am, so basically right on the water's edge. Let me see if I can do the distance properly. Yeah, she'd appear right on the water's edge.
Okay. Okay. So as soon as you do that, one of the guys kind of lazily turns his head and he sees it and he's like, and he looks at the other guy and he points. You can't hear what they're saying. He points. And they both kind of start like you can see them kind of talking excitedly with some passion to each other. And after like a minute or two of that, you see one of the guys run to the back of the building. And at that point, you see 4 guys appear. And there's
Okay,
go ahead.
I'd use my action to have her start kind of like again, this is all silent, but like make it look like she's kind of crying and sad and distressed.
Mhm. Okay. And so you see them kind of inching towards this person that they see. So this is an image, so there would be no role for that for them. So actually, let me have them roll. Let me do
Yeah,
one.
I think we can do an
Okay.
investigation check to
Yeah,
see if it's an
investigation.
illusion.
Okay, we'll do that. So we'll do investigation. So we're gonna go. Okay, 1, 2. Ooh. Oh God, these are terrible.
It's DC 14.
Okay, yeah, since I'm doing an average, yeah, they definitely failed the average. I don't even need to add that up. Actually, let me do the last guy too. So, investigation. Yeah, definitely failed. Okay. Okay, so after a minute of this, you see them kind of, like I said, kind of edging, and you see a 5th guy run out, and Xander rejoins the group, and he says, "Let's go. Something got his attention, but he'll be back soon. Hurry."
All right. Cypress will motion for Andil or ask Andil to, silence our movements on the. I mean, cast silence on the window so Toren can shoot it, or Ramune.
Yeah, I'll cast silence.
Okay. So you're gonna go. So Andil cast silence. Let's see what window we're going in. We're going in this window. Okay. All right. And Ramune, you're gonna move. Describe what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay. So the order. So let's talk about the order that we're going in. So Toren is first. Who would like to go? Obviously, Ramune is last. Who would like to go second?
I guess Cypress will go second.
Okay, so it's in order. Okay. Draw Xander on the map if I can. Okay, so Toren is first. Cypress is second. Andil, you can be third.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander will be fourth. Let me get Xander on the map. 1 second. Ramune, you're last. Tender. Okay. All right, Irene, I'm going to move you to the scene, so you're just not staring at black for however long this takes. But you are not. Yeah. But just follow the group. Don't open any doors. I did that with my other group, and they like open doors. I'm like, if you're not part of you cannot open doors if you're not part of the group because they can see in there. So, okay, so Irene, I'm just gonna put you in where they're gonna end up. Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna move to the scene. So Cypress, sorry, not Cypress, Toren, you kind of blow. Oh, we have to shoot the window first. Sorry, with an arrow, right?
I chuck my spear through the window, make a bigger hole.
All right. Okay. So go ahead and roll athletics for that. Okay.
Ow.
So you throw it up at the window as hard as you can, but you don't quite get it, but you see a crack. The spear falls back down. Go ahead and try it again. Okay. Again, you're like frustrated. You pick up your spear again and you just throw it with all your might, and the window cracks, and then a little bit of it falls out, but enough to probably get an arm through, maybe to unlock it.
Oh,
So everybody go up.
Yeah, I'll go up. I'll wrap my arm up in a towel or something so I can punch through the glass without cutting myself.
Okay. All right. Gonna pull us off to the scene. Okay. That is not what I wanted to do. Pull us to the correct scene. Okay. All right. So Toren, sorry, I'm the wrong person. Toren. Put it on the spot. There we go. Okay. You float up and you put your arm through. You feel around for a lock. You find one, a latch, and you're able to unlatch it, and you open the window and you pull yourself in. You're in a very, very cramped space that maybe only like 2 people could fit in at a time. There is a door right here, but the space is very small.
I'll poke my head out through the window and like whisper. It's like, hey, the room up here is not too big. Wait a sec before you send someone else up.
Okay. So upon hearing that, you can move. I'll move you out because I didn't put it. So you're right here. Okay, that's right outside the room. Okay, Cypress will be next. So we wait like 30 seconds or so. Cypress, you come in. And I'm going to move you out. Andil, move you out. Gender. And Ramune. And we're not going to belabor this, but Toren lowers the rope and pulls you up very easily. You were all in. This is what you see. There we go. So it looks pretty empty. When you kind of listen out for voices and you hear voices in the distance but you can't exactly tell where they're coming from. But yeah, this is what you see.
Oh. All right. Well, the note said an east room, but it didn't say which one.
I can't. I'm not on the same level as everybody else, I think. Oh, yeah, I'm back where we left off the cat.
Mm-hmm. Can you see everyone?
No, I'm on the first floor where the cat was, where I left, like
You know what?
where
Oh, you know why? Because hold on. I have two. I forgot to. Okay, there you go. I forgot to delete your second token. Now you should be able to see the top floor.
yeah.
There you go.
So I will I'll start leading the way and I'll say it was on the second floor but on the other side, so I'll point over to this door over here and also say
Not even
that
roll stealth, please.
yeah, oh yeah, stealth, maybe pass without trace.
Yeah, continue with what you're saying. I just want to make sure we rolled stealth before we started moving too much.
Yeah,
So.
I'll explain that I did see at least one person up here, but maybe they got distracted. I'll whisper, let's see. Stealth.
Okay, Chandra will roll stealth.
Okay.
Nice roll,
That's
Toren.
yeah. That's a disadvantage.
All right, big money on Andil, no whammies.
Andil, are you there?
Can you say that again, please? My mother was talking to me.
Oh, just
Oh, no
roll
problem.
stealth.
Yeah, roll stealth. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay.
Big money.
All right. Okay, so yeah, so continue with what you were saying, Cypress.
All right, yeah, he'll be I guess fading in and out of just whispering like quietly to everybody, just to be quiet. There still might be people up here, and he'll start moving and see if that guy is still there. Yeah, he is, and he'll quickly like go back around the corner and see if there's any reaction.
Nope. He is actually looking down and writing. He's writing on something. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that we're going to come to several points where we're going to need to re-roll.
Okay.
So I will tell you when we're going to re-roll. Let me just look at my. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Okay. So all right, go ahead. Walk forward.
Okay.
And Jender's just going to follow wherever you all go.
So stealthily as possible, try to open this door.
Mm-hmm. Your stealth rolls that you just rolled are still part of this.
Okay. So I'll quickly motion people to
Great. You come to a hall, and you can see an open door as you go down the hall.
Okay.
And you can hear voices of some people in that door.
Irene?
Yes.
I gotta go.
Okay, no problem. I'll move you. All right. We'll see you next week.
See you.
All right, bye. Okay. Okay, Ramune, are you able to move? Oh, yeah, everybody can follow. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do a stealth roll again. Right here. So you're like I said, you're in a long hall, and you see an open door, and you see some voices, that are coming from that. You see some voices coming from that door. Go ahead and roll stealth, please.
Oh boy. I am not confident at all here.
Okay.
How long has it been since I scouted downstairs? Is it within 2 hours?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2 hours. I'm trying to think what time. Actually, no, it's a little bit longer than 2 hours.
Okay, all
Oh,
right, never mind then.
but you have the general layout of the building, I think. But yeah, you actually weren't able to go through this door, but okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead and try to continue forward with where you want to go.
Okay.
And I will just follow. And as you creep by, they again seem to not notice. They are engaged in conversation, and they do not hear anything. You come to a door.
Ramune, did you reroll stealth?
Yeah, you were. Go ahead and roll. I didn't notice that, so that's on me. Don't worry about it because that was my mistake. Okay. So now, Toren, you kind of creep into the next room, and as you open the door, you hear loud snoring, very loud, and it's right in front of you. Then to your right, you hear through a closed door again some conversation. Everybody roll stealth. This will be your last stealth roll. Roll. Okay. Okay, everybody do it.
Yeah.
No,
Wait, I think so.
I figured out the issue. What the thing was. So when I right click to move the screen around,
Mm-hmm.
if I double right click, it prompts me to close the tab, and that screws up roll 20 for me.
Oh, right, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, is that, yeah, you're on Opera, right?
Yeah. So no,
Oh,
it would do that with anything, just because of how my thing is set up. Because right click usually brings up a little admin tab on my computer,
okay.
Oh, okay.
and that screws with a lot of things.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So as you all enter the hallway, go ahead and go. Move forward.
Okay.
You see a guy sleeping on the bench. And he's like, boxes, barrels. And he goes back to snoring.
Nice.
You do not wake him up. This is a really high stealth roll because this is the hardest one. So
Yeah, we've been
the dice,
killing these stealth rolls, yeah.
the dice were in
Well,
your favor,
the rest of you have. I've kind of been.
but since it was an average,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't been I haven't been rolling crappily enough to bring down the average too bad.
exactly. If someone had fumbled, it would have been an automatic fail, no matter what everybody else rolled. So pretty lucky here. Okay, cool.
Are these boxes over here like tall enough to hide behind or whatever, or just sort of like do a roundabout approach?
Yeah, so tell me how you want to enter this room. You say that you're going to hide behind the boxes.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I guess ducking low. I mean, this is the last guy.
yeah, actually, go ahead and we'll do stealth to enter this room too. So go ahead and roll stealth to enter this room to see if he notices you as you enter.
I mean, obviously this is gonna be where we bomb. So,
Oh no! You spoke it into existence.
yeah, I did kind of
Okay.
manifest that.
Ramune, if I roll on that one, I'm blaming you.
All right.
Wait, why Ramune?
Or not Cypress, sorry.
What did he do?
Didn't do anything. Oh wait. Oh
Whoa,
wait. Look
whoa.
at that.
Wow,
Look at
just bringing
that.
everybody
Andil
up.
with the yeah.
I take full credit for this, but
Okay. Everybody roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So, yeah, you all are able to sneak on in to the room where you see a guy nervously glancing around and standing next to some boxes. This is where we will stop.
Okay.
Y'all made it like through this warehouse like pretty easily. I got to tell you, there were definitely some things that you could have fumbled on, but you guys made it through. So it's actually a really big map too. So, all right, so we will start here in the room with this guy when we come back next week. So, all right, I do have somewhere to go, so I have to jump off actually immediately. But let me know, Ramune. I'll get back to you about that armor. Okay. So, all right, I'll talk to everyone later.
Alright. Thanks for
Bye.
thanks for the game.
Bye.
Bye.